It was their piercing cry that prompted early settlers to name them Tasmanian Devils. They became a symbol of Australia's southern island state. But for 15 years they have been in terminal decline. A cancerous facial growth has spread like a plague. It's estimated to have killed more than 90% of the population. Southern and eastern Tasmania have virtually no devils left, and with no sign of a vaccine or cure, there are fears for those in other parts of the island too. In this forest in northwestern Tasmania, devil numbers are holding up quite well. It's still relatively disease-free. But what if that changes? What if Tasmanian devils do become extinct in the wild? What then? It's with that uncomfortable question in mind that this refuge was set up in Tasmania's east. Here, in an enclosure that replicates the wild, healthy Tasmanian devils are being bred. They are their species insurance policy.
So our aim is to have somewhere between 350 and 1,000 devils, subject to what the disease does in the wild. We keep them safe until the disease does whatever it has to do, and then we can put them back into the wild.
That won't be soon. 20 years at least. Every wild animal will need to be gone before healthy ones are released, to be sure none with the disease spread the cancer.
So this is Scooter, he's 14 months of age. He won't be released back into Tasmania, but it'll be his great-great-grandchildren that'll be eventually re-released back into the wild.
The breeding program is a struggle. In captivity, getting more than half of the females to reproduce is tough. But at least those that do are producing healthy offspring. Their descendants will be the colonial explorers back in the wild. Andrew Thomas, Al Jazeera, Tasmania.
So how likely is it that this program will succeed? Professor Hamish McCallum is an expert in infectious diseases and a member of the Devils Advocates team. Thanks for your time. How did this disease even come about, and how did it spread so rapidly?
Well, we'll never really know how it started. It first appeared in 1996. And the one thing that we do know is that all the tumours are clonal descendants of one single devil that developed this particular transmissible version of the cancer back sometime in the 1990s.
And if the Tasmanian devil can't be saved, will it have a knock-on effect on other species?
Yes, it will. That's one of the things we're very concerned about. We're already seeing evidence that feral cat populations are increasing in Tasmania. On the mainland of Australia, they're a major threat to a number of mammal species which in fact have gone extinct on mainland Australia and only persist in Tasmania. So yeah, we're very worried that if the devils go, we'll possibly lose a number of other species as well.
And I know you're frustrated by the amount of money needed for research. Is there a bit of a shortfall then?
Yes, there is. I mean, there's always a problem with research. This program has been relatively well supported in terms of other conservation programs in Australia for endangered species, but there's still a lot we don't know. And one of the things that is, I believe, about to happen, but has been frustrating in the past, is we've been proposing for some years to put devils on offshore islands, and I think that's now coming to fruition, but it's been a long struggle to get that approved.
Well, what other steps need to be taken now to save the animal?
Well, we have investigated the possibility of culling, of selectively removing all the diseased animals that we catch. But both from seeing what happened in practice and also from doing some theoretical modelling, it seems that we can't remove enough fast enough to stop the disease. So that option won't work. The one possible ray of light in the wild is that the disease hasn't reached the western part of Tasmania yet. There the populations are a little genetically different from those in the east, and it's just possible that they may have some genetic resistance to the disease, but that's at the moment a hope rather than being something we know.
Hamish McCallum, thank you very much for your time. He's a member of the Devils Advocates team in Brisbane.